Hi ladies, I'd like to share with you a few thoughts on mother-baby bonding, how it works, why it's important, and how we need to change the norms in society around this story. The moment a baby is born into the world, it comes from inside the mother's womb, the only place it knew as home. So the first place that is home is mother's body, to the point that baby knows her smell, knows the smell of the colostrum in her breasts because it's the same smell as the amniotic fluid, knows the sound of her voice, it knows her heartbeat. Baby belongs on mother for the first while, long while. I was very blessed when I did my doula training to be able to attend a lecture by Dr. Niels Bergman, one of the most incredible researchers on infant neuroscience. And it was very clear how important it was for baby to spend the majority of time on mother, preferably skin to skin, for the first 3 months. Reason being is, as we've evolved, as our bodies became more upright, we started birthing our babies a bit earlier than other mammals, and you can see that by the developmental stage that a newborn human is at compared to a newborn monkey or any other mammal. The moment a monkey comes out, it can hold on to its mother. It can find the breast by itself, which human babies can do as well. But the main thing is that it's able to walk, it's able to fully function very soon after birth. And you look at all mammals, all the different kinds of mammals, they have an immediate ability to function on some level in this world. Our babies can't even hold their heads up for many months. So on a developmental level, our babies are born 3 months premature. And when we look at the way that tribes have always taken care of their babies, how we used to in the old days, before this little imprint that we have, this patriarchal structure in our society, we always, all mammals, all humans have always kept baby close to mother. In fact, the Swahili tribe have the most beautiful name, which means mother-baby as one entity, Mama Toto. It's one. When that baby comes out for the first 3 months, Mama Toto, mother and baby are one. And many mothers experience that when they give birth. There's that sense that this little human at this time is simply an extension of them. And yes, many mothers struggle with initial bonding and not having instant mother's instinct. And I have a few theories as to why that happens, because the bonding process builds the instinct, but the bonding process starts from the moment of birth. If you've had a traumatic birth, it's going to take you longer to experience that. And I don't necessarily mean an emotionally traumatic birth. If your body went through experiences that were disrespectful and harsh, even if your mind was feeling like everything was conducted the right way, your body can experience trauma, and the other way around as well. Sometimes you have a good natural birth, but emotionally you didn't feel the support that you needed during the birth, and that can create trauma. Sometimes you just have a really intense birth and you don't have trauma, or you have an emergency C-section, you're fully prepared for it, you're treated well, you don't have trauma. So that's a whole other video in itself. But understanding that if you are carrying some kind of trauma in your system, it's going to take a little bit longer to feel that attachment connection, that bonding with baby, and to feel that mother's instinct kicking in and being able to trust yourself. Now, we have a lineage in the Western culture, and any culture that's been affected by the Western culture, there's a lineage of disconnect and disassociate. So I find it fascinating when you read stories like Queen Victoria. She had 9 children, and she suffered from severe postpartum depression after every child. Now, what was interesting is she chose very clearly not to breastfeed. She didn't touch her babies after they were born. They were immediately taken to the nursery and given to the wet nurse. When you look at the neurological structure, it makes perfect sense to why she had such bad postnatal depression. When baby is on mother, mother is home for baby. Mother is home. In the movie, for those of you as old as me, in the movie The Crow, he says at one point, mother is the word for God on the lips of all children. And that always stuck with me because it's so strong and it's so true. When baby is on mother, mother equals home, mother equals love, mother equals safety, mother equals nourishment. And the moment that you are holding your baby, there is an alignment of your nervous systems. To the point that your body is reading your baby. Your breast milk recipe is changed 10 minutes after that baby latches to provide the perfect combination of nutrients for your baby every time they feed, every time. When you have your baby skin to skin on your chest, if your baby's too hot, your chest will lower its temperature to an entire degree to regulate the temperature of your baby. Your body regulates your baby for at least the first 3 months. Your body regulates your baby mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And also your body is regulating baby's breath. Okay. But yes, fathers have a place, of course. Immediate caregivers, like if your mother is strongly involved, or if you have a nanny that's around every day, or postpartum doula, if the baby's going to create a secondary primary bond with another person, then they do play a role. But for the first 3 months, baby needs mother first and foremost, preferably 80-90% of the time. So what happens for mother when you're holding your baby skin to skin and when you're breastfeeding? Your nervous system starts wiring. So most adults have their ability to change their neurological structure in their brain is a slow process. We can always change, but it's a slow process. The moment you're pregnant and you are breastfeeding postpartum, your neurology is in a state that's called plastic, the same as a newborn baby, and your husband to some degree as well, your partner. And that is because you need to rewire your way of navigating the world in the way that serves your baby and your new self best. So you've got to rewire, and with that rewiring, you are experiencing a huge flood of oxytocin. It's unbelievable the amount of love and bonding hormones you are producing every time you hold your baby. Okay, you're helping regulate their immune system. Your immune system is boosting at the same time. Your ability to be calmer, your ability to protect your baby, very important, and your ability to read your baby. Your ability to read your baby. What does that mean? It's not just about, oh, look at that cute facial expression. Baby's only way of communicating is through facial expression and sound, crying and expressing. And mother's brain kicks out everything it doesn't think is necessary and starts programming in your individual baby's expressions, the sounds, the visual, not just the crying, every sound that your baby makes. You start wiring to that the more you hold baby on you. Okay, and you're reading their expressions subconsciously. You more and more and more, the more that you look at them, your eye-to-eye contact with your baby is wiring both your brains in the most beautiful way. If you have an ambition to have an extremely intelligent child, this is how you do it, because intelligence grows out of love and safety. And this is how you do it. You keep baby with you as much as possible. The problem for many of us, because we grew up in the disassociated, disconnected culture, a lot of us didn't have that bonding with our parents when we were young. So it can be very triggering when we start holding our baby a lot. We may hit points of panic of like, I don't know what I'm doing, this is uncomfortable, I feel like I'm being suffocated, I need my space, da 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 da. And just watch that and be aware of that. Yes, absolutely, hand baby over to your partner and go have a walk in the garden and take that space. But be aware that this could be childhood programming, emotional imprints that are being triggered. Okay. And when we're aware of that and we hold our inner child for that moment and we give that triggering, that emotional experience, huge love and compassion and space, and just acknowledging maybe you didn't get those primal needs met when you were little, because they are primal needs. And when it feels right, go back and reconnect with baby. But what fascinated me with my experiences, even though I was very much attachment based, I didn't physically put my baby down for 2 months, like unless I was changing her nappy. She always napped on my body. I had her on me all the time unless she was on my partner. We were the only two people, a little bit of time with grandparents. But in those first 3 months, I had her on me most of the time, and I was the baby put in a separate room from day one, in the cot in the nursery. So I had a lot of rewiring to do on that level. But what fascinated me was there were days where I experienced this level of disconnect. I'd look at my child and suddenly I couldn't read her. I couldn't feel her. I felt like suddenly I didn't know how to meet her needs, and I couldn't feel that bond between us. It happened a few times, even though I was doing this whole thing, and obviously from my perspective it was those waves of lineage story moving through me. And I would panic. I'd be like, I don't know how to connect with my child, I can't feel it. And I, just having a sense that some women are feeling that every single day, my heart goes out. That must be so overwhelming and so full of anxiety if you've been told to put the baby down, to not spoil them, or people come and they think they're helping you by taking your baby all the time while you make them food, and all these totally back to front concepts that is normal in our society. So if you haven't been able to hold your baby enough, you might be experiencing that a lot of the time. And the problem with that is it's really, really impacts on our self-confidence. If we can't feel that connection, we can't read our babies properly, we can be falling down a bit of a rabbit hole of self-judgment, not trusting ourselves as mothers, even asking the questions, which I've gone through and most moms do at some point. Does my baby like me? Does my baby actually want to be with me? They cry when they're with me, when they don't cry when they're with my partner. You know, they would rather have the bottle than my breast. There are reasons for these things. One, mom is place of vulnerability. So when they come back to mom, it's safety. It's their safe home, and they can allow their emotions to flow. That's why babies often cry with mom when they don't cry with other people. Okay. Often it's the other way around, where somebody holds them too long. When that attachment is strong with mother, they will cry because they want to come back to mom. Right, that's great. We like that. But that impact on our self-confidence as mothers, like for instance with bottles, if we're using bottles to feed our babies some substitute feeds, if we go out or if we aren't well or whatever, partner takes over, you pump the breast milk using the bottle can change the latch, and then it makes them very lazy. The milk from a bottle just pours down a baby's throat, where when you're breastfeeding, they have to work. They've got to work to get that milk out. So it can get to the point where you feel that they're rejecting you, that they prefer the bottle to your breast milk, to your breast, and it's not true. They've just become lazy. So you need to taper that weaning and make sure they're getting enough time on the breast, or you don't use a bottle, use a sippy cup or something else instead. Diverging again, but understanding that we often have those thoughts of baby doesn't like me, baby doesn't want to be with me. And my solution, every time I had any of those thoughts, I would get my top off and get my baby, clothes off, blanket over baby, and just lie there and be skin to skin and allow that hormonal, neurological, energetic, loving wiring to resettle and come back to that space of home with my child. Come back to that place of really trusting myself, having that deep breath that goes, oh yeah, everything's actually okay, we're good, I've got this. Baby does like me, I can read my baby, I can feel my baby, I am connected. So I hope this is helpful, and I hope it illuminates the changes we need to be really spreading in the world when it comes to that postpartum time. That our babies need mother mostly for the first 3 months. And on the sleep side of things, if your baby is sleeping during the day or at night in a cot, even if they're close to you, they're not falling into a proper deep sleep. They're on alert because they're vulnerable. If their ideal place is being able to touch mother or partner, mother, father, whoever your partner is, they need that physical touch to know that they're safe. And then they have a proper, deep, regenerative sleep. So know that when your baby appears to be in a deep sleep in the cot, under 3 months old, afterwards it's obviously much more relaxed, and if they can hear your voice, then they still have a sense of safety, just in that 4th trimester time. So if you're always putting them down to sleep, one, you're not getting the co-regulation experience with them, you're not getting that oxytocin boost, that sense of wiring with your baby, and two, they're not having a proper full deep sleep. Okay, so I'm not saying all the time. There's times where you need space, there's times where you need to put the baby down, there's times where you need to hand baby to partner, and that's all perfect. It's just about, for your well-being and for baby's well-being, they thrive, you both thrive the most when baby is on your body a large amount of the time, especially in those first 3 months. Because of the lack of village for mamas, I've set up a postpartum circle, a mentorship group. I've realized what moms need most is to be able to connect at any time. So if you're interested in joining the group, it's a small monthly subscription fee, and it's on Telegram, so it allows a lot more connection in that space. And you basically have me on call 5 days a week. It's a space for you to ask absolutely any question. Instead of booking a one-on-one session and having an hour where you're trying to deal with baby and remember everything you wanted to ask, rather to be able to send messages in the moment when things come up, and I'm there as support at any time. It's really serving moms in a beautiful way, because also it's a cyber village happening. So you are creating with other like-minded moms, working with attachment parenting and natural parenting on as many levels as works for you. So if that resonates with you, if you're needing support, send me a message and I'll give you more details. Have a beautiful day.